Have you ever played a game in which you randomly die because your connection to the brain is severed, then you die 100 times more until you finally beat the game and your hands are literally shaking so hard, then you die in real life from the immense pressure? Hello and welcome people to Barony, an action roguelike dungeon crawler game which is brutally hard and you die over and over and over again, either by your own stupidity or by the random generation. But everything else aside, it's a very entertaining game. A very entertaining Boulders in the game are the bane of my existence. Out of nowhere, it will appear and crush your dreams, like it crushed my friends to the point of emotionless. I've had good runs being obliterated because I either didn't see the big hole in the ceiling, or because I ran the same way as the boulder, and I didn't make it better for myself by subscribing to a mod that makes the boulder a joy emoji, and every time a boulder drops, a fucking loud ass noise plays, that it scares the shit out of me. But there is a way to survive a boulder, by having the top or minor hat, but good luck finding one that is not cursed, or be level 50 with 200 plus HP. It took me about 40 hours to beat it. Keep in mind, an average run is about 4 to 5 hours, maybe longer if you take time to level up, but with each death I learned something new. I became empowered with wisdom. I began to strategize and look up guides. In my first successful run I played as a monk called Socks, and there I realized that fists are the most OP weapon in the game. You have swords, spears, axes, maces, bows and magic staffs, which are cool, and each weapon is weak and strong against certain enemies, except for staffs. They don't have weaknesses besides magic reflection. But the fists, they have no equal, they have no weakness. You go in and you smash, you wreak havoc, you slaughter, you're the beast. There is nothing that can beat you except yourself. I crushed through every zone, which I'll explain later, and arrived at the last boss. I'm all prepared, ready to fight the scummy Baron. I enter in, and I eat his ass, nice and good. Then the shiny purple crystal appears right in front of me. I put it on the stand and I enter the portal. The end's in place. I win the game. Too bad there is more. There is a small town in which you can prepare for the next segment of the game. And there I met my tragic end. There is a spell which is unlocked after you reach max level magic. About that later. Called Domination. These spells makes monsters into your allies. I tried to dominate this big bird and I died. What did I learn? Never use that fucking spell. I should have used my fists. I felt demoralized that day and decided to take some rest. The next 5 days I got my ass beaten up so hard that I was starting to lose my last remaining drop of sanity, until the god knows what run I finally won. I played as a skeletal conjurer. Now I will start with the classes and races. Every kind is racist towards foreigners, except for the automatons. If you play as a human, humans will not attack you. If as a goblin, goblins will not attack you. But there is one difference between me and my brethren, that I am racist towards everyone. Sorry bro, but I have to get all the XP I can, so no hard feelings. Do not feel bad for killing your own people. The only thing they are useful for is leveling your leadership skill, otherwise they will just die in the very next moment you're not paying attention to them. Humans are the basic race. Every other one is bought as a DLC, but they cost little to no money. The good thing about humans is they are everywhere, have no weaknesses, shopkeepers won't attack you, and generally you won't get fucked because of your skin color. I will talk about the base game classes, then I will separate each DLC race with its class cause they were added that way. Barbarian and Warrior are basically the same class, except one of the classes doesn't care about safety. Warrior is a bit superior cause he starts way more armored and has a spear. Spears are probably the best melee weapons because of their long range. In this game, range is necessary. The way you have to fight enemies is the pussy way, because if you go in and say, oh yeah, I can survive it, you will die. You have to hit the enemy and run away before they can hit you, or you can play a rhythm game with the monsters by timing the strikes with theirs, using a shield. They're strength type classes, which means when they level up, their strength stats will go up more. Every time you level up, 3 random stats get modified every time, and when you inspect the characters, you can see which stat will be more likely to be leveled. Healer is unironically one of the best classes to play, because he starts with a healing spell and his leveling stats gives benefits long term. I don't like Rogue that much. He uses a bow, which is not bad, but the class for me feels weak. The one Wanderer is an interesting class. You're prepared with food and travel equipment, and overall it's not a bad one to play. The Cleric, in my humble opinion, is the worst version of the Healer. The Merchant is a dogshit class. By his name you can guess what's his role. To get your trading skills up, you have to find a shopkeeper, but the problem is there are different types of shopkeepers. Unless you have 100 in your trading skill, you can trade certain items to certain shopkeepers. Yes, he starts with a good amount of money, but how can you use your doors if you're already dead? Wizard is a good class for beginners, because magic is OP, and even if you're playing a melee class, you need spells. Good thing about this game is, I can do magic even if I'm not a magic class. Classes, to be exact, are versatile, which I really like. The Arcanist is the better version of the Wizard. The combination with range combat and spells is quite enjoyable. The Joker is, well, I don't need to say much. He's kind of useless. But it's funny, guys. We live in a society. Sexton, besides the fact that he has tons of sex, he's alright. Ninja is a stealth class and basically useless. Monk is the best class to play, to be fair, the second best class in the whole game. He doesn't start with much, but he has a ring that delays hunger. That's good because you can get fucked by hunger, because the gods of mouth generation can fuck you up. He has no downsides. He starts with gloves that improve your fist damage and give you armor. He starts with no armor but compensates with constitution, which increases your armor class. These were all the base game classes, and now the DLC ones. The skeleton race is the second best race behind humans. They don't starve, they resurrect if you have more than 75 mana, they're immune to burning and strangulation. Strangulation is only applied to amulets, which has no purpose to exist. Once equipped to you, it gets stuck on you and you slowly begin to die. I guess the developer felt silly, but skeletons do regenerate health slower. With skeletons comes the Conjurer class. It's the best class in the game. Yes, he's weak, but you compensate with having the spell to summon allies. At start you can summon a knight, but when you reach a high enough level, I don't remember which one, you can summon 2 skeletons at once. You have a knight and an archer, and if you keep them alive and give them the ability to level up as you do, you'll be unstoppable. The good thing about them is if they die and you summon them again, they keep their level. They can tank the bosses while you just stay in the back and hit them. The only useful allies you can ever have. The vampire is a unique race and he only feasts on blood, and they begin with 2 spells, levitation and bloodletting, which is basically a normal spell that drops blood vials for you to feast. With the vampire comes the Accursed class. It is a special version of the monk class. I might say in some ways it's better, because you get a buff that improves your strength and dexterity, but you do get bloodthirsty quite often, and that can become troublesome. You can cure yourself at the Mystic Library, which is the first secret portal at the ruins. The Succubus is fragile. She is, I would say, one of the worst races, but one good thing about her is that cursed items give you bonuses, and you can seduce humans to join you. The Mesmer is the Succubus class. It's useless, don't play it. The Goatman, I would say, it's the silliest race in the game, and not in a bad way. I love the design of it. For you to fight better, you actually have to be drunk. So, you're literally playing Eastern European Simulator. If you have a hangover, you're weak. So you have to constantly drink alcohol in order to work. And it's the best combination with his class, the Brewer. You have this tiny machine that lets you craft potions, drinks and alcohol. I think it's the best class in terms of design. The Automaton race is distinctive as well. You can only feed on books, scrolls and gems. You use your steam to cast spells. Funny thing about automatons is that you can guess their gender by their face color. With the automatons comes the Mechanic class. I think it's the second best class in terms of design. You can craft sentry bots, dummies, traps and dismantle equipment. You're a bit weak at the start, but the more you level, the easier the game gets. The Incubus is the same as the Succubus. His class is the Punisher and it's still a bit trash, but it's way better than Mesmer and you have a whip as a main weapon. The Goblins are the dumb race. They literally are. They can't read, but they can use worn items. They aren't that special, but the Goblin female looks kinda hot. With them comes the Shaman class, which is quite good. You can change into different monsters, a rat, a spider, a giant and an imp. The last race are the Insectoids. They're not good magic casters because they use the same energy as your survival, but they are immune to poison and can eat moldy food. The Hunter class is the better version of the Rogue, because he has a boomerang. But to beat the game, you need to be well prepared. I've beaten the game twice with the Conjurer and the Accursed. The way you prepare yourself is by killing as many living beings as you can and leveling your skills. One skill point gives you 2 XP, the max is 100 points for a specific skill and there are quite many. You have the weapon skills which are leveled through hitting enemies. The swimming skill you get from AFKing in the water for a couple of minutes. Whenever you reach 100 for a skill you get their legendary trait. For swimming you can walk on water and lava. Appraisal is leveled by getting every item you can from the floor and identifying it. For its max level you can appraise any item instantly. Leadership is upped by having followers do random shit. Trading is buying items from the shopkeeper. Stealth is by backstabbing monsters. Magic and casting are done by casting spells and using wands. When you reach 100 for casting, your force bolt costs 0 mana. Alchemy by drinking and making potions. Tinkering by doing some shit. I don't know, I've never done that skill. And that's all of them. Every floor in the game is randomly generated and has different encounters, like random unique mobs that drop legendary weapons and miniatures randomly appearing. If that icon appears, you need to be fast, otherwise you're dead. The first level is the mines. It's quite easy and it has 2 secret levels, spawning on the same exact floors. The first is the gnome mines, but one thing about the gnomes, in early game, they have wands and they hurt quite a lot. You can get an artifact helmet from there. The second secret floor is a small town. The second zone is the jungle. From there the difficulty ramps up only because goblins have staffs and you're still weak. This zone has 2 secret levels. The first one is an ancient temple that has an orb that you need to get for later. It has a bunch of traps that you need to avoid. The second level is the haunted mansion, that once you steal something from it, you're going to be surrounded by hordes of empowered ghouls. You can get the artifact boots from there. The third zone is the desert labyrinth, which is, as its name states, a labyrinth. It also has 2 secret levels. The first is a trial you need to complete. You have to have a ring of strength in order to complete it. From there you can get the artifact gauntlets and a lot of gold. The second one is the miniature maze, which is the scariest level from all. You get a red orb from there for the boss. But the problem is, as soon as you get it, an overpowered minotaur will start chasing you down, and if you get stuck in the maze, you're dead. The first time I completed the maze, my hands were shaking and my adrenaline levels were through the roof. When you experience the pain of dying, then you will see why I was at the brink of a heart attack. The next zone is the ruins. It's filled with bunch of traps and weak enemies. It too has 2 secret levels. The first one is the Mystic Library, which has the final blue orb. The second level is actually a gateway to a secret final boss, Baphomet. You have to go through the underworld until you reach hell. Then you have to fight a big bull boss. There is a cheese where you can just farm the mobs that the boss spawns until you reach level 1000, but that's too much time. The real final boss is Baron Herx. The orbs which you got from the secret levels give you bonuses when fighting Herx. The green one gives you 8 dexterity and perception, red 8 strength and constitution, blue 8 intelligence and plus 50% magic resistance, but you can keep the orbs and sell them to an NPC in the sewers. But my game crashes when I do it cause my mods are fucking up with the game. After you defeat the Baron, you enter Hamlet, which is a zone for preparations. The next segment of the game is quite easy, because I already have leveled up so much that I kill everything in almost one hit. Crystal Caverns has 1 secret level, which is the Cockatrice lair. You can get the artifact helmet from there. The Citadel is the last zone in the game. It has 1 secret level, which is Bram's Castle, that gives you the last artifact armor, a cape. Artifact armor is quite good. If you're a new player, you should wear it. The final bosses of the game are the siblings Orpheus and Eurydice. Get equipped with health potions and magic reflection amulets and capes. After you defeat them, you have finally beaten the whole game. Congratulations! Multiplayer in the game is quite fun, but the more people you are, the worse it gets, because you don't get killed by monsters, but by your own friends. The furthest I've got in multiplayer was in the ruin zone. Then I got ahead of myself and got me and my friend absolutely obliterated by the Minotaur, but after that, it only gets worse. That's everything from the game. It released long time ago and I think it deserves more support, because the developers have done an amazing job and I was amazed it still was getting updated. Go buy it. Sorry for the late video once again, but I'm addicted to Deadlock and I was lazy. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a nice day. See you in the next one.
Bye.